And because it wasn't very large boat, it was rocking a lot, and most of the people were seasick on it. So I became a cook, a first aid man, and a man that would do the guards all night. They put several machine guns on the side of a ship, and that was in case the German planes would spot us. So we had to man those at night and at day. But because most of the lads were ill, they couldn't do that. So maybe because where I grew up near the river, I used to do a lot of boating. So I was used to the water, and that's while I was there on that boat, I was capable of helping everybody and doing all the duties for them. And instead of heading straight for Italy, for some reason they sent us towards Greece, and the journey took, I think, 8 days, and they decided to turn west for the Toronto. So by the time we got there, we weren't very fit. Yeah. So we were used as support of the infantry, as artillery. And so our platoon never had any rest at all. And we took part in all the battles on the way from Rimini to Bologna. And then as we were taken over by the British regiments to have a rest, we heard that suddenly all the German troops in Italy surrendered. So that was the end of the war in Italy for us. We never went any farther north. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of anger, you know, because you see your mates are being wounded, being killed, and you just become a savage like the other side, you know. That's all I can call, because in the end, the war became really ruthless, because the Germans didn't want to retreat any farther. I think their orders was to hold the allies as far as possible from Germany, you know. So, yeah. I remember taking well, I didn't take the prisoner, because we were following the regiment. We were sent a prisoner of war who was caught set in the mines, and he got left behind. And one of the lads that was serving me could speak German, because he attended the University of Katowice learning languages. I said, ask that German, what do you think if they lose in the war? And he said, no, he said, we're not losing the war. The Hitler still got something up his sleeve, and we shall win the war, he said. Yeah, he was sitting on the grass with my blooming rifle pointing at him, Tommy gun pointing at him, and he said, they haven't lost the war, they still win. So how the hell can you fight anybody like that believes that, yeah, the war we thought was nearly over, he was still believing that Hitler do some miracles. And I think maybe they knew something about the atomic bomb that he was trying to make, which we didn't know about. So I don't know, that's the possibility. And he was quite cocky. Yeah. German surrenders, yeah. Yeah, the Italians surrendered some time ago, and if there was any, I think it was any units that still keep inside with Hitler, they probably was sent somewhere else, not in Italy, to fight somewhere else. Yeah, because some of them was fighting on the Russian front, and I think the reason was they couldn't they knew that the people had enough of war. They wanted the Italian to take the Allied side, see? And of course they had a new head of state, which was the king. Yeah, Emmanuel. And yeah, the Mussolini got shot by the partisan. So, yeah. So there was no Italian troops fighting against us, not there. It's only the Germans. Germans were retreating north, but they were giving up easily. You know, they were still fighting. But main force and the commanding officer, general, whatever his name was obviously heading north with his main troops. I suppose hoping to get to Austria or somewhere, but I think the pressure was such from the Air Force and that they decided to give up the fighting in Italy and orders his troops to surrender. And that was on, I think, on the 5th of May or something like that. Yeah. So suddenly the fighting stopped, and that was the end of our fighting in Italy. Well, when we've taken Bologna, and they've decided to move us south to a place near Ancona, and this is where we spent another 12 months. They actually didn't know now what to do with us, because we could go to Poland because the communists now, yeah, and Churchill told General Anders to take his troops and go away. So we were hanging about for somebody to feel sorry for us and maybe invite us to their countries. And Americans offer a 2 years service in Japan, so they could send their boys home, which wasn't accepted. Canadian offer us forest in, I think it's Newfoundland on the Hudson, Hudson River to settle, yeah, all the soldiers up there, and that didn't come to anything. And in the end, I think it was the future Prime Minister of Britain that suggested that all the Polish troops should go to England and being treated as a part of a British army and be offered a job and a chance to settle in England. And yeah, so then in May, following year, we sailed to England in a style, in a big luxury liner. End of the war happened few days after the ending of the war in Italy. Two separate things. I think it was 3 or 4 days later. And when this was all over, we were sent to move to a place near Ancona, the seaside. For some unknown reason, we were issued with the Sherman tanks. To this day, I don't know what was the purpose, because the war ended and we got the new tanks, which were probably parked somewhere in a port in Naples. Yeah. Anyway, we had a training on tanks, and here I became a gunner on a howitzer. But we never took action. We just paraded once or twice. And after that, time was taken by, relaxing, I suppose. and waiting for the big boys to decide what to do with us. Yeah. So at the time, the men that praised us during the war and after the war told us to more or less to go home, lost the election, so we had a new government in Britain, and I suppose the new idea what to do with us. And as there was a shortage of labor in England, and a lot of women were employed in industry, they were now going home, having children. There was shortage of workers, so they use us as their more or less a slave labor to support the industry. Yeah. So that didn't happen till May 1946. Yeah, we traveled in style on a ship called was luxury liner Mauritania. So that was quite an experience for a lad that came from the eastern part of Poland. Yeah, we landed in Liverpool and then was sent to a camp just outside the town of Grimsby. And the people were very nice and very friendly and very generous. Yeah. So a lot of my friends stayed there and settled down there. But a lot of them went to Canada, United States, so those that took part in fighting in Libya, in Tobruk and Ghazala alongside Australian troops were invited to settle in Australia. And I think half of the regiment was there, and some went to Tasmania to build some water electrical dam or something. And from Grimsby, once I got the mob, I found a job in the city of Bath, where we actually came to demolish the buildings that the German bombs didn't quite manage to destroy, to make them safe. And after a few months of that, I got a job in a garage as a coach builder. Spent there a couple of years, and the firm decided to move to London, but London was not for me. One reason was that after the war, London didn't look very happy. The other thing was I was a country boy, and I liked Wiltshire, and my girlfriend was here. So I decided to look for another work, and eventually I was employed by the building firm, and we built some local houses. And this is where I more or less done my training as a pipe fitter, roof maker, window fitter, yeah, floor making. Yeah, I would join all the men, the tradesmen, and yeah, I used to make their tea if they allow me to do certain things. So I sort of done my apprenticeship on a black market. So when we acquired a bit of land from my father-in-law, we built 2 houses. We built a bungalow first, and then as the family got bigger, we built a 5-bedroom house. And so that was quite a challenge. Yeah, And we lived there for about, 20 years. And once the children got married, we decided to move to a bungalow in Corsham. And it's amazing how life changes, because after 10 years of marriage, both of the sons got divorced, and we end up with two sons and 5 grandchildren to entertain every weekend. So we decided to look for something bigger again, and we bought a 5-bedroom farmhouse that was terribly neglected. There was nothing here. They were worth keeping, so we removed everything, including windows and doors, and replaced everything, and made a nice place. And the good thing was that it has a very large garden and a double garage. And one of the sons had not only 3 grandchildren, but he had 4 dogs. So we housed the dogs in the garage, and they live in that walled-in garden, till they all died from the old age. And of course, grandchildren got, grown up and went to university and got jobs and got husbands and boyfriends, and all gone away. I think because if things become hard or something annoys me, I always think back and I think I survived that and survived the hard times. What the hell am I worrying about now? I can cope with this, just like that. So what's the point, making life miserable? You're not going hungry, you're not ill. So if things go wrong, if somebody at work annoys you or neighbors upset you, you just ignore it and carry on, because the things were really bad in my youth, So maybe that's how I cope. And I was lucky to marry a girl that, she was everything to me. Yeah. So perhaps life was maybe hard, but we could cope with anything. Both of us could cope with anything. Yeah. So maybe that's why I am the way I am. And if I am down a bit, I think about the dangerous and terrible things that I escaped from. Yeah. I forgot to mention the bit in the battle for the Pesaro, where my truck was hit by the artillery, and we just managed to escape in time, because next salvo of artillery shell has ripped the thing apart. So it was just seconds from being dead, I escaped there. So it's another thing that I think of, whether somebody did look after me, I don't know, or whether it's just luck. And I've been lucky to meet Glenys. And we had lovely 2 children and lovely grandchildren. Yeah. And now we got a great-granddaughter. Hooray. What an ending.